What's up, guys, and welcome to my video review for the Olight H1 Nova. This is a compact headlamp. Obviously, as you can see in the picture here, it comes with an elastic band that you would wear around your head, and then it allows you to just have light wherever you're looking. I haven't actually owned a headlamp in many years, so I was kind of excited to check this out. Before we get into anything else, we'll go over the specs really quick. As you can see, it has 5 modes. The brightest mode is a 500 lumen between 3 and 170 minutes. It's not bad for magnetic caps. Not bad for the fact that it uses the CR123 battery. These are more powerful than a AA, but obviously it's about half the length of the 18650 lithium-ion rechargeables that some of the other big lights come with. So you can't expect the same battery life coming out of one of these, but they do produce a really nice brightness. Second mode, 180 lumens. You get about 3 hours of battery life on that. That's pretty good, actually. 60 lumens is probably 180 to 60 lumens is good for a lot of tasks. I haven't yet, tried it out, but that would be my assumption that these two modes would probably be what you would use most of the time. 8.5 hours of battery life is nice for if you were camping, working outside, something like that, going for a hike. You get enough battery life out of that you're not worried about going dead in the middle of the hike. You have your 15-minute low mode, that gets you an impressive 42 hours of battery life, and then kind of the moonlight mode, 2 lumens, for circumstances where you just want a very small amount of light that will do for as long as you can possibly have it. Great for power outages, things like that. You get 15 days of life out of that. That's pretty impressive. Again, the flashlight does come with an Olight CR123A battery. They do make 123s as rechargeables also, so if you have a lithium charger, you could go this route. I would probably recommend that if you were going to use this flashlight consistently, only because the 123 batteries tend to be between $2 and $4. Most places I've seen them sold per battery, so they're very pricey compared to AA's, AAA type batteries. They are brighter, but they're a lot more expensive. Cheaper than the initial purchase of buying one of the longer 18650 rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, but of course those are rechargeable pretty much good for the life of the flashlight. This is a bit more expensive way to power the light. But anyway, let's go ahead and put the battery in. The cap, as you saw a minute ago, is magnetic, which is nice, especially if you're putting it on in the dark. It's a little tricky to find it sometimes. The magnetic helps snap it right on there so you know where you're at. And then it turns on and off with this button at the end here. We'll go ahead and turn that on, as you can see. And like the other Olight that I reviewed recently, the Baton Light S2R, you can just click when it's on and hold the button to cycle through your modes. And when it's off, if you double tap, it'll go into its higher mode, and if you triple tap, it goes into a flashing mode for SOS. Useful if you're stranded in the woods or in some kind of dire circumstance. This will just continuously repeat SOS over and over again, which is a really nice feature. I have thankfully never had to use a feature like that on a light, but it's nice to have it for outdoor use. You can also see that the headband that it comes with is adjustable, so it should fit pretty much any size head, and it does come with a nice carrying case. Inside this case here is, if you want to be able to clip it to a pocket, it's got a different accessory there. Some instructions on how to use it at the top here. I did go through those quickly before this video. That'll explain to you quickly how to go through the different modes and work the operation of it and things like that. So anyway, let's take it outside and see how it does. Alright, I am outside with the Olight H1 Nova headlamp. Obviously not on yet. Just going to get some examples of the beam shots. So I'm going to go ahead and click that on. Alright, let me see. I'm going to cycle through the modes quick so I can see which one we're on. This is the low mode. I'm going to get up close to a tree here. So As you could probably tell, light detail is pretty good when you're up close, but you do have to get up close. There's a tree there, you can't even see it, I don't think, on the viewfinder. It's about probably 10 feet from me. But if I go ahead and engage the next mode, you should be, yeah, there we go. Now you can see that tree at that distance. Still not a ton of detail, but you can make it out. I'll go back to the tree we were just looking at a little closer up, and you can see there's significantly more detail now. If I look down at the ground, pretty nice amount of detail there. You could definitely see where you were going if you were looking down. I'll get kind of closer to these trees here. It looks darker on the video screen than it does in real life. It probably doesn't look very bright on the screen, but I assure you that standing here, that tree actually, you can make out a lot of detail on the vines that are on it, but I will get a little closer just so you guys can see what we're looking at here. And then I will step it up to the highest mode. This is the high mode. That's really nice. I'm probably about 8 feet from that tree there. And now, unlike the other two modes, we're not having any difficulty making out detail at a distance. We don't have to get right up on it. Pretty much anything we look at now has a nice amount of detail. If we look down at the ground, it's very well illuminated. Not a definitive hotspot when we're looking at things, but a nice kind of fill, very diffuse light. Gives you a very usable area as you walk around. Obviously, it being on your head, it's very easy to look from side to side at anything that catches your fancy, but the wide dispersal of light here is nice for kind of illuminating everything in front of you. It also did say, if you turn the light off, that if you double tap it, it'll go into turbo mode, which is, yeah, it's significantly brighter. Everything I look at a distance is very well illuminated. Very impressive out of a very small headlamp. Obviously the battery life isn't great in this mode, but that definitely, when you need a lot of light, it's there. And then a triple click is a, whoops. This seems to be an SOS. Okay, so the triple click seems to toggle the SOS mode. Useful if you're lost in the woods. Can't seem to get the strobe if it has one to come on right now, but that should give you guys a good example of the different light modes that we're looking at with this light. I would say that the low mode is probably not very useful in a lot of settings that you would be using a headlamp for. It just doesn't put out enough light really to be useful, in my opinion. The medium mode is okay. Again, it looked darker on the viewfinder than it did in real life. The real life illumination was adequate. But the high mode, I think, definitely, if you're wandering around the woods or working outside, that would be the mode you would probably want to use the most. So let's head back inside. Alright, we're back inside. Overall, I'd have to say I'm pretty impressed with the medium and the higher modes of output that this has. The last headlamp I had years ago was significantly less bright than this. So obviously LED technology has advanced a lot over the years. I don't wear headlamps a lot, but if I needed one, this is definitely bright enough on the medium and high modes for hiking and outdoor use. I didn't really think that the lower mode, if you were walking around outside, would probably be sufficient for much, but if you were inside doing something that you needed a headlamp for, I could see where that would be useful. And I guess if you were in a survival situation where you had to have any amount of light, I could opt for the low mode, but given the choice on this particular light, I don't think I would ever really use the low mode. Medium and highs, though, were pretty solid. I love that it's such a small light package. Some of the headlamps I've seen are significantly larger than this, and the fact that the This is pretty comfortable to wear while I was out there trying it, so that's always a nice feature. People have said before some of these squeeze your head really tight and it's uncomfortable. I like the fact that it's adjustable, so if you do have a larger head, it's not going to be gripping so tight and be uncomfortable so quickly. It is pretty easy to change out the batteries on this, and like I said in the beginning, if you were going to use this regularly, I would definitely recommend getting a rechargeable CR123 because the one-time use batteries are a bit pricey for this to be a frequent use flashlight. But for what it is, I think it's a really nice light. Great novelty item. I mean, not a lot of people have lights like these. You could even put it in a pocket because it faces forward and use it with that clip that it comes with. That I could also see being very useful for tasks where your hands are busy or you just want to walk, and if you have a walking stick or something else, you don't want to use your hands. Very useful for that. So if you or anyone you know in your family is a flashlight fan and looking for maybe a kind of light that not every collection probably has, this would be a great thing to pick up and add to the collection, just to add some variety to your use cases. That's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and if you like one of these, check the video description. If you're viewing this video shortly after I put it up, there is a Black Friday sale that Olight is promoting that you can use to get this flashlight at a discount. Thanks, guys.